What's happening, y'all? It's the Carolina Kid. I'm going to be breaking down Ortega versus Rodriguez, the whole card, starting from the third fight in the prelims, Jacoby versus Daun. I'm not going to do the whole prelims. That's just going to be the first fight I'm going to do. Just be giving you the details of each fight, kind of what happened, and who won. So starting with Jacoby versus Daun, it's not a whole lot with this fight. Basically, Jacoby was the better striker, ended up catching him with the right hand, putting him away pretty quick. It was a great fight on Jacoby's part. Can't wait to see what he has for the rest of the division. After that, we had Baby Burns versus Bill Algeo. Bill Algeo is a guy to look out for in this division, but there's a couple things I want to talk about in this fight. Algeo has a karate style striking. It looks really nice though. Baby Burns was able to get a hold of him, hit a nice lateral throw, hit him down to the ground. Then he threw up a triangle, and guys, he threw up this triangle and did not angle whatsoever. It was really hard to watch. You have to angle on your triangles. I always tell my students, triangle. You have to hit an angle to finish it. So he didn't hit that angle, and he ended up getting his guard passed. And then he got back to guard, but he ended up getting beat up for the rest of the round, and then he kind of quit after that. So that didn't go too well for him. But Algeo's a guy to look out for. Next up, we got Ricky Simone. Ricky looked really, really good against Jack Shore, who was an undefeated fighter until he fought Ricky Simone. Ricky was mixing it up on the feet, really great, hitting him with some hard shots from the outside. He would shoot in whenever Jack Shore would pressure, which was great from Ricky. So he would kind of bait him into throwing back, and then when he would throw back, he would shoot underneath. He picked him up, hit a big slam on him at one point in the fight. There's a couple times that he took him down, and it was pretty nasty. Simone was just kind of faster in this fight. His footwork was better. Shore has pretty good striking, but I think Simone was a little more on point for this, and really it was just a bad matchup for Shore. Super fun fight to watch. I hope we see Ricky Simone higher up on these cards from now on. You see here, he picked him up, slammed his head against the cage. It was just super entertaining. He ends up catching him with a counter overhand right, kind of towards the end of the fight. You can see here, his footwork is great. I just put this little clip in here so you could see. He ended up bouncing back, switching stances, and then switched back. He was just kind of hitting all kinds of different angles, switching it up on Shore. It was really great striking on the feet by Ricky Simone. He ends up catching him with this overhand right here, and it really, really hurt Shore, and he ends up being able to put him away. He pretty much moves straight to mount and is able to put him away with an arm triangle. So Ricky Simone was a great fight. Then we had Soriano versus Lumjiamba. Lumjiamba is, a great striker. Soriano was, I would say, a little less technical, but he was a little more scrappy. So that ended up making up for the technical difference in this fight. They both grappled pretty decently for the level that each other are at. I wouldn't say it was anything super impressive. Lumjiamba has some great leg kicks. He ended up kicking Soriano off of his feet at one point, actually. But at the end of the second round, Soriano landed a beautiful left cross and was able to put him away. All in all, it was a pretty entertaining fight. Keep an eye out for Bill Algeo. His striking is going to be a great addition to this division. And of course, Ricky Simone. It goes without saying, Ricky Simone is one of the stars of this card, and I believe he's going to be one of the stars of the bantamweight division. Definitely going to be a top contender soon. Called out Sean O'Malley. I think it was a great call out. Next up, we had Lauren Murphy versus Miesha Tate. Basically, the story of this fight was Miesha Tate had nothing for Lauren Murphy. Lauren Murphy would just kind of manhandle her. She was too strong. Miesha was pretty slow with most of her attacks. Miesha's a legend of the sport, so I don't want to say anything bad about her. I'm not against her. I wish her a great life. But I believe she needs to get out of MMA. You'll see later that she really got some bad damage in this fight. Yeah, Lauren Murphy was just too strong. Miesha really had nothing for her. But kudos to Lauren Murphy. She really fought a great fight. Next up, we had Shane Burgos versus Charles Jourdain. I didn't really know who Charles Jourdain was too much until this fight, But Shane Burgos, I thought would be a banger, and it really was. It was a great fight. The story of the first round was Jourdain picking Burgos apart from the outside. He was on his back foot. Burgos was pressuring him, his normal kind of slip and throw type boxing. Then he ended up getting on his back, actually, about 3 minutes into the round. 2.5 minutes into the round. Burgos actually did this cool thing where he pushed off the cage and was able to lock in a body triangle with that. But Jourdain was able to shake him off and actually caught him with a right hook that knocked his mouthpiece out on the way down. That was pretty sweet. Jourdain's technical boxing, his slipping and ripping was incredible, especially in the third round. But in this first round after, I think Burgos kind of pissed him off with the grappling, and he came back pretty hard. The second round, it was pretty similar to the first round on the feet, but then Burgos ended up getting Jourdain's back for pretty much the entire round. He put on lots of submission attempts, trying to finish that rear naked choke lots of times, put a lot of pressure on Jourdain's face. So I gave Burgos that round just because of the amount of submission attempts that he put up. Going into it, I had it 1-1 Burgos Jourdain. And Jourdain really showed up in this third round. He decided he wasn't going to back up anymore. He started engaging with Burgos a lot more, moving forward. He was shutting Burgos' offense down. Really, Jourdain beat the piss out of Burgos this whole round. It was ridiculous. It was super entertaining to watch. Burgos has a hell of a chin for lasting through this. It was really incredible though. Some beautiful striking on display. You can see here some amazing combinations, and it was just non-stop the whole round. Jourdain really outclassed Burgos in this third round. He ended up putting Burgos up against the cage quite a few times and just going in on him, eventually forcing Burgos to panic wrestle. He had no other option. He had nothing for Jourdain on the feet in this round. Jourdain has some elite striking. Like I said, it was truly beautiful to watch. The grappling exchange was pretty short. Burgos lasted the rest of the round, and then Burgos ended up getting the decision by majority decision. One judge had a 28-28. The other two had a 29-28. I do not agree with this decision. I believe Jourdain won this fight. I believe he won the first and the third round. I thought that was pretty clear. Jourdain actually did damage in the first round where Burgos was just pressuring. Next up we had Schnell versus Suma Darji. Sorry if I said that wrong. Anyways, this was a great fight. One of the best fights on the card, probably the best fight on the card. It was an incredible back and forth fight. The first round was not as wild as the second, but it was a nice technical battle. They're kind of feeling each other out a little bit. About a minute and a half into the round, Schnell shot a shot and was able to get Suma Darji down to the ground. He did great work on the ground. He was definitely better in that aspect than Suma Darji was, but I think Suma Darji definitely had the advantage on the feet, as we'll see, especially in the second round. Schnell also threw up a triangle attempt and didn't angle on it. I don't know what's with this. Like, everybody should know. Angle, triangle. You gotta angle with your triangles, guys. Please, 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 angle with your triangles. Suma Darji ends up catching Schnell 30 seconds or so into the second round with a left straight and rocked him bad. He pieced him apart from this point. He was landing that left straight essentially at will. He ends up dropping him down to the ground. They grapple a little bit. He gets back up. He kept pinning this arm and then throwing a swim elbow over the top. You see he did it here, landed a beautiful elbow, then he did it again, and then he does it a third time. It lands the exact same strike back to back to back on Schnell. I think Schnell was just so rocked that he couldn't see it coming. Didn't matter what he did. Darji put on a brief striking clinic, but then ends up getting caught with a left hook and a beautiful right straight from Schnell, and it really hurts him. You can see here in a second, he gets cracked, and then he ends up getting taken down, mounted immediately, gets cut up from the mount by some elbows. Then he ends up hitting that triangle we were talking about earlier, and this time he did hit the angle. It took him a little while. He was trying to hook under the arm and hit the angle, which is a great thing to do, but he wasn't able to because I think they were just too sweaty. He ends up reaching under the leg and gets the W. That was beautiful by Schnell. What a comeback, and is one of the toughest dudes on the planet. Next up, we had Jingliang versus Muslim Salikov. This was a pretty good fight. It was more so a technical matchup, a lot of outside striking, pretty fun to watch. Nothing super significant happens in the first round. It's crazy how quick Salikov can spin, though. It doesn't look like that he has that physique, but this dude can spin on you so quick. It's very, very dangerous. They just had some back and forth here. Salikov actually picks him up and slams him after he caught a kick. That was probably the biggest moment of the round. I think I would give this round mostly to Salikov just because of that slam and a couple more damaging strikes. See here, he spun. He didn't land really hard, but he landed pretty well. But Lee definitely having his moments in the first round as well. Going into the second round, Salikov hits a nice sweep. He hits him with the right hand and then sweeps him actually after he caught a kick. He spun again. It was ridiculous how fast it is. And then Lee kind of started taking over the fight. He was hitting him with nice counter hooks. He was really catching Salikov coming in. He took him down. They got back up. Again, Salikov spun wicked fast. And then Lee ends up catching Salikov with the right hand. It wobbles him bad, and he ends up putting him away. This was a fun fight to watch. Great technical battle. And Lee did a great job neutralizing the spins and the speed of Salikov, and then ended up catching him at the end. Great fun to watch. I'd love to see Lee fight a top 10 guy next. With this performance, he definitely deserves it, and I think he could be a problem for the rest of the division. Great fight. Next up, we had Michelle Waterson Gomez versus Amanda Lamos. Amanda Lamos is a pretty good striker. I was really impressed, actually. I'm not super familiar with her, but I did know she was a striker, but I didn't know she was as good as she is. She really neutralized a lot of Waterson's long, rangy strikes. But obviously, Michelle Waterson did catch her with some side kicks. Sorry, I'm calling her Waterson, not Waterson Gomez. I'm just so used to it. Michelle and Lamos were trading kicks back and forth. Lamos definitely had the bigger moments in the fight, but I think in the first round, because Michelle had more moments and she ends up getting a takedown towards the end of the round, I think I would give this round to Michelle. Lamos did really good too. I really could see this round going either way. Both fighters did great in this round, and Lamos actually ended up finishing the round on top, but did no damage or anything. Michelle came back out with her side kicks. She has beautiful side kicks, some of the best in the game. But Lamos started countering them. She was finding her timing on her. Waterson shot in and ended up getting guillotined pretty early in the second round. The ref didn't see the tap, but Lamos let go, and then Waterson confirmed that she did tap, so that was cool. And then we have the main event, Ortega versus Rodriguez. This was a great fight. It was not really what I expected at all. I was expecting Ortega to be a little more patient and technical, but he just rushed in there. He literally went into hell with 2 bombs and thought he was going to kill the double. But Rodriguez was too fast. He was too creative. His instincts and his vision, like I was saying in my breakdown before this fight, if you watched it, were just too much. Ortega kept moving forward. I think maybe Ortega, if the fight had gone longer than it did, would have switched this up because it really wasn't working too well for him. He had some success, but I would say it was about 75 Rodriguez, 25 Ortega. They ended up grappling. Ortega shoots and then gets a body lock, presses him against the cage for about a minute and a half or so, landed some nice knees and stuff. And then Rodriguez is able to throw him, actually, and then make some space again. Rodriguez's right hand was really money in this fight. He was catching him with it often and hard. Rodriguez looked really good in this fight. Ortega, I just think his methodology, his tactics in this fight were wrong. He ends up getting a takedown at the end of the first round, and Rodriguez throws up a little armbar. And as Ortega was pulling out of the armbar, you can see here, his shoulder actually dislocated. I don't know if you can tell from the picture, but it popped, it dislocated. You can see here in the picture, his right shoulder is kind of slouching down a little bit. I feel really bad for Ortega. I mean, man, this was a great fight up to this point. I think Ortega probably would have switched it up coming out the second round. He might have fought on the outside a little bit more. He would have been able to win, but Rodriguez gets the win. I don't know if they're going to give him the title shot like they're saying, but I think he should fight Josh Emmett, or Josh Emmett should get the title shot. He seems a little more deserving to me at this point, but we'll see what happens. If y'all enjoyed this video, please like and share, and if you want to see more content like this in the future, please subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be posting a Paddy the Baddy breakdown for his next coming fight, and also breakdown for the main event, Tom Aspinall versus Curtis Blades. Alright y'all, I'm out.